That's why.
By the way, so when you're ready.
Okay. All right. Save it for after the show.
But
All right.
Save it for our baby podcast.
Womb scoop.
wow.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. Joining me this week is Justin Davis.
Scoop.
Andrew Goldfarb
Hey.
is joining us, and Brian Altano.
Rap.
We got a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about games that mix genres. We're going to talk about long games. We're playing the long game. But first, got an email here from our friend David in Albany, New York. Either of you know David? I know you're from the East Coast. Yeah.
I'll be over later.
Is it the capital? Is Albany the capital?
Sounds right.
No one knows.
That's right.
He emailed us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com, just like you can. And he says, long-time listener, love the show, you guys. Always have great conversations.
After a great start.
Wanted to get your thoughts on this topic that has been annoying me and seemingly nobody else about the upcoming Xbox games Gears of War 4 and Forza.
Lay it on us, David.
If you buy the Ultimate Edition for $100 instead of the regular edition for $60, you get the game 4 days early. Seems to make the people who don't want the season pass second-class citizens and makes it harder for a game like Gears to avoid big story spoilers, like if someone dies. And you're going to be 4 days behind people in multiplayer, even if you pre-ordered to get it day one. Seems like if Call of Duty or EA did this, people would have their pitchforks and torches. What are your thoughts on this disappointing trend they're doing? Keep up the great shows.
That sucks.
Well, but
He's
wait.
totally right. That sucks.
First of all, aren't Call of Duty and EA both doing this?
Yeah, EA definitely does this.
EA does it, well, it's like 2 days early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have EA access, and then
I don't know if Call of Duty does that.
Yeah, I don't
Early
know.
access for games for a limited edition, Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, I mean, you'll never hear me say this again. And if anyone tries to call me on it, I'll deny it. But David, I completely agree with you.
What?
Yeah, I think we all do.
You just said you agree with them too.
Oh, I thought you were agreeing that they should. Okay, forget it.
No.
He meant David Microsoft, not
That's
David
right.
from Albany.
Yeah, I don't think it's good practice to give anybody early access to a game because they paid more or any sort of preferential treatment or anything like that. I mean, we're fragmented enough when it comes to multiplayer games specifically in terms of season passes, in terms of getting like I just played Watch Dogs for a few hours this afternoon. Watchdags. And a lot of dogs in that game, by the way, like actual dogs
Wait,
running around.
really?
Do you watch
tons.
Are they cute?
Yes, we'll get into it another time. But they
Watch Dogs is like the story of Andrew's life.
It's like, all right, let's just talk about dogs today. I went to go look at on PSN like how much it costs. There's a $60 version that if you pre-order, you get the like Zodiac Killer DLC and the costume, which I don't know why you want to dress like that man. And then there's also a $100 version. But that's just an example of like that stuff that I'll never be able to attain unless I pre-order the game, and that's already fragmenting enough. You start taking that.
Killer DLC?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wait, actually?
Well,
It's like that's what they're calling it. It's probably just some sort of mission thing.
I mean,
You just like
I
quietly
can't
write
imagine it
letters.
actually takes place. We're not going back in time to the 50s and 60s,
He
right?
could still be out there. We don't know.
Well,
Okay, you're right.
They're very much in the weeds here. But I feel like there's enough that's sort of fractioned off already from people who want to play a game who can't get all of it, which kind of sucks because as gamers, we're completionists. I want everything. And the only way to get everything is to spend $100 for a full version of a game.
Well, and Watch Dogs specifically is funny because you remember the grid? There's like a Wikipedia grid of like the 80 different pre-order
the
months
original.
for
Yeah, that was
game.
like that was like peak pre-order. Where like
Yeah.
Amazon has this and this, and Target has one of the Amazon things, but not the other one. And but, I mean, I get it from the perspective of game makers. Hey, look, we want to sell this $40 in DLC. We'll sell 10 DLC packs. What else can we just toss in? They're like, well, all right, we'll give them
4 days early access.
we'll give them some
for $40.
costume. We'll give them, like double XP, and like, all right, screw it. Like the game's already finished. We'll just give it to them a few days early. Like I completely understand how that decision happens, but that doesn't make it right or good.
Yeah.
It's also just a weird thing to be like, yeah, the game's done and ready to play, but we're not releasing it for 4 more days. Like,
It makes release dates that and like preloading is totally a great thing. Like this game comes out in Steam in a week, you can preload it. And that's good, but it feels weird knowing, like, I have the game.
Yeah.
It's on my computer, and then through some arbitrary, like, okay, now it's released to you, and you may play it. Like, it feels very strange that it makes release dates feel artificial. And weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely annoying because you can be a big fan and pre-order the day one edition, but since it's just the standard edition, you have to wait those 4 days, and then for those 4 days you have to go on like internet blackout.
Well, to avoid
spoilers.
I felt the same way about The Force Awakens. They put it out in the UK 3 days earlier, and I'm like, well, my phone is off now, and I don't see anybody, and like I come into work and people were talking about Star Wars, and I would get up and go in the other room.
Yeah, I mean, terrible existence to not have to be on your phone for 4 days.
I mean,
it's hard. It's hard, especially with our job. I mean, with Persona right now, I'm doing that because it's out in Japan and it's not out here till February.
You're playing it
5 months in Japanese.
You're the spoiler.
Yeah,
it's me all along. I'm the Zodiac killer.
The Zodiac spoiler.
Yeah, we definitely sympathize with David from Albany, New York. Definitely annoying on his end, but I also it's not surprising to see publishers try this sort of thing. They're always looking for new ways to.
I wish we could get more
revenue.
metrics. Like, I wish we knew if it was worth it for them, because I'm wondering, like, realistically how many people act. Like, maybe that frustration is enough to get more people to do it.
Well, they probably only do it with games that they're confident, have a really high degree of confidence that they're excellent, that are going to have good word of mouth. Like, if your game's mediocre, that could actually harm you. Like, people that might have spent $60 might stop. But
that's true.
If you know your game's great through focus testing or, just whatever, like, you're confident, like, then maybe it makes more sense. Like, start building a little bit of buzz from your biggest, most hardcore fans to begin with.
But when does it stop? Like $100, and I'll tell you the ending 3 months before the game comes out?
I mean, there's already Steam Early Access where, like, you can just pay full price for a game a year before it comes out.
A year before they're done making it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not good.
Andrew, you have some time in development. Do you have any idea, like, what percentage of a game sales are the, like, limited edition or special edition sales as opposed to the regular?
No, because the stuff I did, we didn't do a lot of. Like, we didn't have special editions for the games I was there for.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Utterly useless yet again.
Andrew. Kind of my MO. But I love dogs.
It would be more fun to tie it into, like, their biggest super fans, like, have some contest and, like, prove you love Watch Dogs more than anyone else, or, like, whatever, like, members of their community, or, like, reward, like, your biggest super fans, not just the people that give you $100
or
with,
if it was,
early access by a few days.
If it was 4 days early access to the DLC when it comes out, or something that's going to happen later, but launch feels like a weird time for it.
What if you had to sign an NDA?
Yeah, I don't think that would work.
No,
yeah,
everyone.
Well, I mean,
it's
it's weird because it's not just like, he's right that it's both. Because I was like, oh, like, for single player games it's not a big deal, but, like, he's right about spoilers. And then for multiplayer, you're right that, like, you're level 30 already on my first day. So
I'm very pissed. I had Forza Horizon 3 spoiled for me the other day.
It's a kangaroo.
It's very sad what happened to that car at the end.
I heard that game's really good. We gave a very good score.
9.5, Luke Riley.
Wow.
I
I also found out something about Straya that I didn't know.
I don't know what that is.
That's Australia. Well, the thing you're saying is something different.
That was weird what you did with your mouth when you said that word.
Well, it's impossible to say that without contorting your lips.
They call, he opens his review talking about what they call donuts there.
What do they call them?
Circle work.
Circle work.
What?
There's a lot of when I was there, McDonald's is called Macca's when I was in Australia, and Burger King is called Hungry Jack's.
I want you to give us 5 facts about
Burger
Australia.
King
One of which
franchise is called Hungry Jack's.
What do they call
Jack's.
donuts? Circle Works? What do they call sandwiches? Square jobs? You want to go get some nice hot square jobs for lunch? What on earth? Sort it out.
Yeah.
Why are you so worked up about it?
Circle Works.
It just sounds.
Can I get a glazed circle work?
No,
It sounds like something will get you in jail.
No, only in the context of a car. Did you miss that part?
Car doing donuts.
Oh, not like a breakfast.
Not the pastry.
I love the review starting out like, I'm hungry, could really use some donuts.
You missed such an important piece of context.
That's amazing.
Can I get a jelly circle work? God, that's great.
That's really good. All right, moving on. Our next email is from Big Tony Style.
Big Tony.
What's up, Tony?
He says, I recently acquired and played ActRaiser for Super Nintendo.
It's Dyer's favorite game.
For the first time, knowing it came with a strong recommendation from many people in the gaming industry. I didn't really know what to expect, but I fell in love with the way it mixed genres between 2D action platforming and a strategy/god sim section that tasks you with rebuilding the world's population. The unique mix in genres leads me to ask the Scoop Crew, what are some other games you've come across that blend multiple genres into a single experience, and did the games benefit from this approach?
Spelunky, platformer roguelike.
Platformer roguelike. No? You don't think that counts?
No, it doesn't count.
Odd bang.
I mean, That's a really hard question to answer in 2016 because so many games are like it's an action RPG with first-person elements,
Yeah,
or
but that's
like
not
it's a
like-
shooter with
yeah.
RPG stats.
That's not like a shooter RPG. Like ActRaiser is literally like 2 games,
Right.
Like 2D side-scrolling and then top-down God game, where you sort of go down into the levels and play them. There was a game, I don't know if it ever came out, or I remember reading about it in magazines. I never played it, where it was going to be a real-time strategy game where one player played from the top down, like directed troops here, you go there, playing against one other player. But then from the troop level, it was a first-person shooter.
Eve did that. So for
Was that what Eve's
Eve,
shooter was
you're
supposed to
like
be?
the PC game of Eve. You're up in the clouds or whatever, and then they did was it Dust 514? Was the PlayStation game where you actually play as like the ground troops?
And the idea would be like you would get some directive that's like, your team push east, your team push west, and there's like a human being playing a different game giving you that instruction. But I don't remember if it ever
I had this
came
game
to pass.
for Game Boy called The Getaway, and it was a pinball game that when you got like certain parameters or hit the ball into a certain place, it turned into a racing game.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, it was very weird. So it was just like
the original Game Boy?
Yeah, it's the original Game Boy, and it's straight up pinball, and then it turns into like this like third person, like one of those like sort of isometric racing games.
Cool.
Or not isometric, like what are they, like the old like Lode Runner, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, Lode Runner is just like 2D.
Yeah, but it makes it look like there's like stuff happening, like outrun type of situation.
Okay.
And then like you crash into a tree or you win the race, and then you're back playing pinball, and you're like, oh, that was jarring.
Yeah, I
That's
feel
really
like,
weird.
I feel like
Video
there have
games
been
used to be
other
able to get away
games-
with stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Not even genre switching, but just like I played Back to the Future Part 2 and 3 on the NES, and you fight a lot of hamburgers in that game.
Yeah.
They're just bouncing around. And like when you're a kid, you're just like, yeah, there's Biff Tannen, there's a hamburger, and then there's a DeLorean, and you totally just gloss over. Like video games were weird back in the day. That like they're not like that today.
Well, I think that specifically was made by a team in Japan who had never seen either of those movies, and probably gotten like some promo shots of like the restaurant they went
Yeah,
to.
they're like,
They're like,
America
oh, you can
loves
get a nice
hamburgers.
burger at the diner, and they're like, oh, we must fight that burger, obviously, in that movie. But yeah, you don't really see that a lot. Like I know there's stuff like BioShock where it's a first-person shooter or whatever you want to call it, and then there's like puzzle mini games in it and stuff like that.
That's true. You see it in a minigame context a lot. Stop the gameplay to go do something else for a little bit.
Yeah, but
Like Uncharted, I guess, is
Like
sort
Watch
of melding
Dogs
genres.
basically had all the like that hacking element, and Watch Dogs
And
was
there's pretty interesting hacking in Deus Ex too.
I'm trying to think. I definitely think there are games that drop you out for a second, and then there's like mini game collections, obviously, like something like WarioWare or even Mario Party. Like you're doing a lot of different stuff.
What was the Tim Schafer game?
Broken Age.
No,
Headlander.
the one with Jack Black.
Brutal Legend.
Brutal Legend.
Oh, that's a great
really
example.
Good, that's a really good
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, that's
now, I don't
actually-
know that was a totally successful example of it.
I mean, it was.
But it does mix genres.
Yeah.
It's a great game. It's just people had no idea that's what it was before they played it.
Right.
Yeah, there was a game that actually got canceled. It was weirdly before I quit IGN the first time, before I came back. The last preview I wrote was a game called Chroma. That was a game Harmonix was making. It was a rhythm first-person shooter.
Chroma got canceled? Oh.
And it was basically like if you, depending on which class you chose, you had to time your shots to the beat and like get combos and stuff. And it was it was like an arena shooter, but you had to like have rhythm mechanics. It was really weird.
That sounds cool.
I love
So
that.
that
That
would
sounds
have
awesome.
been an example, but it is not.
Brutal Legend is the one game from my reviewing days, and I'm like, yeah, I overrated that one.
Oh, really? What'd you give it?
A 9.
Whoa.
A 9?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa. If you ask me today, is this game amazing? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
This game, no.
Yeah. I mean,
got a little carried away on that.
It had a lot of great stuff in it. It had a lot of great ideas.
It
I haven't
opened
seen
up
it.
really strong, like a lot
Yes.
of Double Fine games, and then it
Yeah.
kind of petered out towards the end.
Yep.
The game, one of the obvious game we're missing that gives me an opportunity to talk about something I've been wanting to bring up recently is Puzzle Quest.
Ooh, oh yeah, Puzzle Quest,
Puzzle
is, a great
Quest
example,
is like
yeah.
one of the major modern games that mix genres. And do you guys know there is a new Puzzle Quest?
No.
It's called Gems of War.
Yeah.
It's made by the guys that made the original Puzzle Quest.
Yeah,
They
I
started
played
a
it.
new developer. And it's been out for a couple years, but I just discovered it recently. It was brought to my attention by a fan on Twitter, and it's awesome.
Is it
Oh,
free
man,
to play
really?
on the App
That's
Store?
great.
Yeah, free to
And then
play.
I think it's also on PS4.
I think it's on, I don't know if it's on PS4. It's on
it is.
Steam. I'll have to
I
check it out
played
if it's on PS4.
so much Puzzle Quest on DS and then fell off entirely.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there have been like all these spin-offs and
So-
there's
So
been
this
like a bunch of
it's the Harmonix Guitar Hero thing where the developers that made Puzzle Quest are now they don't have the name Puzzle Quest anymore.
That
but
belongs to D3
But
Publisher.
D3 is still making games called Puzzle Quest with
Yeah.
another developer. They made Puzzle Quest Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
So there's
it's Giordano's and Giuliano's.
yeah the pizza.
There's if you want to look up a fascinating pizza war, there's a very famous restaurant under the Brooklyn Bridge called Giordano's, and the Giordano family sold it it, and then opened a new restaurant across the street called Giuliana's, which is the true Giordano's pizza.
Yeah, that's what's going on with Puzzle Quest. Except in this instance, both Puzzle Quest and the new thing are both pretty decent.
So there's a Gears of War, there's a God of War, and there's a Gems of War.
Gems of War.
Can we get this to a 5 and do a top 5 of Wars?
Well, there's Game of War.
There's also Game of War.
There's Game of War. Oh
Yeah.
my God, there might be 5 of War.
Surely there's
games.
one more of War.
Girls
Probably.
of War.
Girls of War. It would probably sell. Anyway, Gems of War is free to play and it's awesome. It's like just Puzzle Quest, and then they introduce a lot of elements from Hearthstone, like you earn gold by winning battles, and you get new cards to use during the battles, and you can upgrade your cards, and you can spend gold to go in the arena. It's
got
and
a
it lasts
city-
as long as you can.
City upgrading mechanic.
Yeah.
And actually,
It's awesome.
I kind of thought it was just okay.
I think it's awesome.
All right.
But I might like Puzzle Quest more than you.
Wow.
You have been known to overrate games, though.
That is true.
So we heard from Damon Hatfield 5 minutes ago.
What about Typing of the Dead?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Typing of the Dead, yeah.
Yeah, that's
a
a
good
weird
example.
one.
Such a weird game.
I'm so happy games like that exist.
Yeah.
Like, they don't make anything like that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Now I was trying to think. Do you think Super Hot qualifies as mixing genres?
Yeah, it's kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shooter,
it's-
but it's also a lot of other things.
Again, like we have to define, like, Andrew is right that Spelunky mixes roguelike and platforming, but that doesn't necessarily, that's not like ActRaiser, where it's
No.
like two
Yeah.
totally separate things shoved together, like Borderlands
Yeah.
and, FPS and RPG as well, so.
Yeah, actually, Borderlands isn't. I mean, like something like Borderlands or Fallout is mixing two. It is mixing two genres, but it's more.
It
along
contains
the lines of what you're
elements.
saying, where it's like exactly.
All right, moving on. Next email comes from Joe, and he says, there are so many games coming out now. It seems like a large majority of them are incredibly long. Some of them are long for no reason, adding additional content to get players to stick around longer. The problem I have is for every 30-plus hour game I finish, there are 4 others that I start, just never play again.
Yep.
On the other hand, I've finished and loved tons of shorter games recently, like Firewatch, Abzu, and Quadrilateral Cowboy. I love long RPGs and adventure games, but there are so many now. It's hard not only to keep track of them all, but just finishing them has become difficult.
Yeah.
I find that I really like these short 5 to 10 hour games because I can finish them in 1 or 2 sessions. What is the matter?
It's very giggly.
It's difficult to keep reading when you're doing this.
What's so funny? You're having a laugh at that. Oh, okay. No, let's backtrack.
Yeah.
You were talking about long games, and Goldfarb, like a 4-year-old, looks at me and goes, "Long games." And now he's been laughing about it for 3 minutes since. It's not that funny.
You having a giggle over
You're
there?
crying. It's not that funny.
I'm glad you're having a good time on GameScoop.
I am.
All right. Can we continue?
Yep.
Anyway, I know I don't have to play every game that comes out, but they're all really good, so I have to help.
Yeah. I agree.
Yep.
With everything he's saying. And we get this a lot, and it's weird because we're in a position where we have access to a lot of games, and we get some free games, not as many as you may think. But we do have access. We have a library here. Can borrow from friends and stuff like that. We have access to consoles in the building where we can play. But I have been saying for a very long time that I do appreciate like a good 6 to 10 hour game.
Yeah.
Like even something shorter like Inside, I believe, was 3.5 hours, 4 hours. Abzu was about 4 hours. Firewatch was, 4 to 5, maybe?
Yeah, and it's like
Gone
any-
Home's 2.
It's like any medium, right? Like a TV season, like a 10-episode TV season or a 13 one is always going to be tighter than a 23-episode
Right.
network
It
show.
feels so weird. Like I'm going back and marathoning West Wing, and it's so weird to go back to 24 episode seasons
Yeah,
of
crazy,
television.
'cause
Like
they're
nothing
endless.
does that anymore.
Yeah.
Because, like, what's
Yep.
your favorite thing that's ever happened in episode 11 of a 22-episode season? Nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
they're just stalling for time at that point.
Yeah, and even like if you
Josh is probably being a big jerk.
Probably
if you
is.
go back to like 24 or something, like there was essentially like 3 different seasons melded into one
Yeah.
because you can't sustain that for that many episodes. And I
Video-
think for games that's true too.
Video games are the only medium that we actively consume in this day and age where people chastise something for not being long enough. There is no book where everyone's ever been like, this could really use 300 more
Yeah,
pages.
or movies.
Yeah, you pick up a book and you're like, oh, this is a short book.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's
no, you don't
something-
say that. That movie was only an hour and 45 minutes. It should have been 3.5 hours. Like, you don't get that. Games are the only medium where
Yeah,
people are
that's
like, if I'm going to spend $60, and I know that's a big barrier of entry, but if you're like, if I'm going to spend $60 in a game, I want it to last me for 50, 60 hours.
$1 an hour.
People
Yeah.
do say that they're like, oh, I would have liked to have seen this movie be longer, this book be longer, but it's always in a context context of like, it's never in the context of like money.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get my $10 worth out of this movie because it was 90 minutes long.
It was weird, and I talked about this on probably on this show and on Beyond as well. But Uncharted 4 was one of the first games I played where I was like, I would have been happier if this was 5 hours shorter.
Yeah.
Like if you had
Really,
gone
that's
in there.
every game for me.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like there's like TV shows, movies, they have editors that come in and stuff gets cut. And I know scenes in video games cost so much money that you can't just be like, we're going to take out the Madagascar level or whatever. Not saying that needs to go specifically, but it's tough to play a 17-hour game that I'm like, I think this would have been better as 12.
And it's the medium, right? Like if you want to shoot a movie and it's a conversation between three people, you set up three people at a table, set up a camera. In a game, like by the point where you've created a world or you've created the Madagascar level or whatever, like cutting it is a much bigger process and you've lost a lot more because you've put in so much.
And you've tested it because people are doing more than just watching two characters interact.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I almost never beat any games anymore because I think most $60 games are like $30 worth of ideas stretched into, a $60 package, and it just goes on too long. Like I need something building on itself and like layering on new challenges and new interesting ways to use your mechanics and the game systems and just ratcheting it all up until it crescendos and the game ends. And most of them are just drawn out, man. Like their ideas can't sustain like you do the same combat loop over and over and over again in Fallout. I stopped playing Fallout 4 because if you go into a building, you're gonna fight super mutants or you're gonna fight raiders or you're gonna fight like some other garbage.
And then, like every game gets like something like The Last of Us or Tomb Raider or BioShock Infinite. Like so many of those games, the way they pad is by just either you're getting your objective and you have to backtrack and then come back to it, which you could have just cut out that whole loop. Or you get that thing where it's like just wave after wave of enemies.
Yeah, they just triple the amount of challenges you have in a single environment.
Exactly.
And it's frustrating because like the game is great. Like Fallout 4 is great, and BioShock Infinite's great, and Uncharted 4 is super great. But their ideas can't sustain their running time. That's it, and it starts to like wear you down before you get to the end.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean I've talked about it here 100 times, but it's why I love Stick of Truth. South Park made a 10-hour RPG, and as someone who doesn't get to play a lot of RPG games anymore because they're daunting. I mean, even Final Fantasy 15 looks awesome, but I'm like, is this going to take me 70 hours to beat? Like, I wish that game had a mode that was like 12-hour mode, and it was just like you leveled up twice as fast, you got through dungeons twice as fast, like and maybe entire areas are lifted out. Like
they weirdly did that on the mobile release of Final Fantasy VII. You can just skip all the
everything,
battles.
right?
Oh, weird. Yeah, that's cool.
You can turn
I
off
like
random
that.
battles entirely.
Yep,
Stuff
which is like a smart system. I mean, like Child of Light is a good example of like it's an RPG experience that's sort of condensed, where it's like you have turn-based battles and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I think I totally agree about like the best games now, and maybe it's a symptom of just having a full-time job and not quite as much free time to like dive into more than maybe one or two like really long games per year. But yeah, like I would rather have like a Firewatch or an Oxenfree or like one of those like 3 to 5 hour experiences than have like a 30-hour game, because I agree, it seems daunting. Like I looked like when I get like even GTA 5, I had this. Like I had a copy of GTA 5 that I bought on launch day that I didn't play for like a week because I was like legitimately like intimidated by like the like looking at like an episode of a Telltale game versus a copy of GTA, I'm like, well, this one's so much easier and I can play it tonight.
I mean, like The Witcher is downright stressful to me because I look at it and I'm like, I'll never even interact with 2% of this entire game. Like it's just so much.
There is no better feeling than a game that you're, completely immersed with. You're loving every element of it, and then just to know that it's gigantic and it's just going to go on and on and on. Like that just feels so great. Like I started playing World of Warcraft again. R.I.P. You guys will never see me again. And that world, like that's a game that a team of hundreds have been making for a decade. Like there's nothing else like it in video games. Like in terms of sheer depth of like handcrafted content, you can go through it all. It'll take weeks and weeks and weeks. Then when you finish, you could go through it again. It's a different class, and it would play completely differently.
Yeah.
Like, so if you like, I don't think I'm gonna play WoW forever. It's just I like the new expansion, so I'm playing it for a while. But like, if you did like get that bug or GTA or whatever the game might be, just to know that that the game is going to keep giving back to you for just evening after evening after evening that's a very, very cool feeling.
And I respect that. I just resent the notion that every game should have to be like that, and that's not something we're doing, but I do hear that a lot from specific people in the audience who are just like, oh, I won't play that game because it's too short. And I'm like, well, you're robbing yourself of an experience. And like, I know money is a barrier, but like there's so many other ways that like Steam sales, there's like buy one, get one free sales, there's like theft is a huge, great way to steal
break into
games.
someone's house.
Yeah, rob all those indie developers out there. Just steal it from them directly. Their studios are probably
a man
not very
a
padded.
man on the street.
Yep. Man on the street.
Happen to carry
The likelihood of him having the game you want to play is slim, but
it's not zero.
Yeah,
it's greater than zero.
There are undoubtedly more games than ever coming out every week. Every week there's a crushing flood of iOS games, of course, and onto Steam. But even on consoles, on PS4 and Xbox, there's just so many games released every week, from like older games that are re-released to all the new indie games to your weekly AAA games. It's just like there's way too much.
I mean, how do you find them?
Well, what I would say, there is a resource like IGN. But what I was going to say is I don't think there's that many or as many big AAA adventure games coming out anymore.
Yeah.
Because like recently I finished Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and I was like, okay, what's next? There is nothing out right now.
Yeah.
Nothing else out right now.
Yeah,
So
I was replaying Resident Evil 4, and I was like, what? Like, I finished this now. Like, what do I do? Like, I can replay the new Tomb Raider game on PS4 in a month.
Yeah.
But there isn't really a lot of sort of like AAA third-person action games that I get to play.
Now, September's weird. September's a weird month. Like usually there's like a Halo or something this
There's
month.
supposed to be Final Fantasy.
Yeah. And this year there's not. It really kicks off in October. The season starts a little late this
And
year.
then it's insane. Then it's like
insane.
it's Battlefield and Titanfall and Call of Duty are all within I think 4 weeks. There's only a 1 week gap. Like that's crazy. I think
And
also
PSVR,
like the thing
that's 15 games.
Yeah. The thing that's insane is like there probably is a game that would have been perfect for you coming off of Deus Ex, but like discoverability is just insane because somewhere on Steam there's probably some indie game that would perfectly scratch that itch, but like finding
really
it
tough.
like IGN, we're coming up on our 20th anniversary. Like 15 years ago, I think IGN was fully comprehensive and probably had a little bit of everything. Whereas now, even if we had 10 times as many people, I think it would be so hard to actually
just so many more games.
find and review things. Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, moving on. Next email comes from Carl.
I won't laugh during this one. I apologize.
Carl says, my name is Carl. I'm a music teacher in Illinois. Not to sound cliche, but I have an idea for a game. My wife and I have begun doing research on how to develop a retro-style JRPG and have discovered there are more and more accessible resources out there. Unfortunately, it seems most of them are for iOS, which is not what I had envisioned. My question is this: do any of you have any knowledge on what programs or resources are accessible to create console games? If you guys can help with us, I'll send you a code for the game on PlayStation 9 when it's done.
Sweet.
Console games. That's the part that threw me for a loop. I mean, I was gonna say I'm surprised to hear him say iOS. Like Game Maker, and its variations and spin-offs has been like it's available on Steam now. They actually had, I think, like a humble bundle for Game Maker tools.
But Game Maker stuff is notoriously when like recently you'll see people be like, hey, like we're canceling the Vita version, the Wii U version because we made the game in Game Maker and it won't work on those platforms.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know about.
I mean, is Unity. Like, Unity works on everything.
Yeah,
and it's free to download.
And it's free to download.
I don't know how the licensing works. Once you're starting to make a commercial product.
I think there's different tiers of it. But
Yeah. Anthony Gallegos, who used to work here, got into Unity, and I was just kind of looking over his shoulder one day watching him build a level and characters and hit detection and environments, and just sort of like watching the way he was able to manipulate the camera and just have these very rudimentary sort of like blob looking people walk around this blank world that didn't have any textures, but at its core like he was building a game and he was stripping down the ideas of what you see in a video game. And I'm like, this is a really cool way of looking at it, because I don't think a lot of people look at video games like that, and that stuff's free for the most part, and I think you can get access to higher tiers and stuff. But
if you download Unity or any of these tools, you will have so much more respect for like the video game development process. You're like, none of this exists. It all has to be made.
It's insane when you actually like, even if you go back and watch like dev diaries and stuff, it's not even like you have to do it in person. But if you really watch people working in like Unreal or something, making like a photorealistic game, it is insane how much how every single thing you have to consider and how many textures and interactions with physics and all that stuff.
Yeah, I would say maybe a big JRPG for consoles as your first game ever is a little ambitious.
Yep.
Maybe something on a mobile game would be better to start with.
Yeah.
But Unity is free to download, like we said, and it is compatible with at least Xbox 360 and PS3, those consoles right off the bat.
Yeah, maybe like start small, just do the turn-based battles, then that's like your first game.
See, I would say make a story game, make play to the moon and make a short story game, and that was made in Game Maker, and then then grow from there.
Yeah.
Do what he said.
And keep us informed on your progress, Carl. Now is the time on GameScoop when we play video game 20 questions.
Oh, I forgot the thing.
You brought it on last week.
Yeah, but I was gonna do it every week. He gave me a list of like 20 questions.
Well, you got to be better.
All right.
Just in general in life, you gotta be better.
You got to be better, Justin. Everyone knows how this works. You guys email us a game suggestion. This week comes from David Barca, and my friends have 20 yes or no questions to guess this mystery game. Let the questioning begin.
Does this game have plants? Yeah. Are there plants in it?
Yes.
What?
Are there plants in it?
Yeah.
They're like as a core mechanic.
Plants vs. Zombies.
No, just plants.
It's gonna be a record
That would be
breaker.
the short.
Does it have zombies in it?
It's got plant life.
Is it from pre-2000?
You're asking if it was released before
Yes.
January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Was this exclusive to one console?
Yes.
Does this game play from a
Definitely.
3D perspective?
Yes.
Okay, around 4.
Yeah.
It's 1/5 of 20.
Thank you.
Okay, so
you're up.
post 2000, it has plants.
Post 2000,
Console
plants,
exclusive. You should
console
narrow-
exclusive,
narrow down the
3D.
console.
Yeah, is it a Sony console?
No.
Okay, Nintendo and Xbox. So that's. But Mario has plants in it. Gears of War has plants in it.
Halo 4 is much
Does
plants?
Gears of War have plants in it?
You should ask
Yeah,
which
makes sense.
console.
I mean, you can't just ask which console.
That's not a yes or no question.
But like,
Oh, it's on the yes.
Why don't I ask him for $10?
was this on an Xbox platform
No.
All right, so it's a Nintendo game.
or PC?
Can I
You said
have
it's
10?
exclusive to one console.
Yeah. So it's on a Nintendo platform after 2000. So that could still be GameCube.
Yeah, so it's GameCube,
yeah.
Wii U.
And it has plants.
Ooh, do we?
Can I? Okay.
We don't know if it's a handheld or not, right?
No.
By
Oh.
consoles, is that?
Do you want me to ask if it's a handheld? Well, I'll sit down for you. Is it a Mario game?
No.
Okay.
That was a bad question.
Why was that a bad question?
You should ask if it was made by Nintendo first.
Oh, dang.
You know what I think it is? I think it's Billy Hatcher.
All right, go for it.
Oh.
That egg game.
That would be good. That would be a good guess. I don't know why I said that. Maybe that's not a good guess at all.
Is this developed by a first or third party?
No, you can't.
Oh, yeah. Fuckers. I can't curse.
Yeah,
either.
you can't do that.
It's all
either.
falling apart. Can I have $10? No. Is this a third party developed game?
No.
Okay, so it's a first party
First-party
Nintendo
Nintendo.
exclusive game.
We didn't actually confirm it's Nintendo. We didn't say is it a Nintendo game.
But it's first party.
It's
on
first
a
party
Nintendo
and it's
platform.
exclusive to the Nintendo platform. Who else would it be?
No, we didn't. Okay, yes, you're right.
Wait, explain to me why that's not true.
Because we said is it a Sony platform, is it a Microsoft platform? We didn't blatantly say is it a Nintendo platform. I agree that it probably is. I'm just saying that's
Who
not-
else would it be?
He asked if it's exclusive to a console.
Yeah.
Post 2000, who else would, like the Magnavox
Booyah.
CD or whatever?
Was this
made a console?
Magnavox. Just a bag.
Why is no one buying our system? It goes with a bag of games.
Microsoft has a box. We have a bag.
The X bag. The bag station.
Is this part of a long running franchise?
Yes.
It's definitely not Billy Hatcher.
Zelda, Metroid.
Do we just start eliminating them one by one?
I mean, it's a Nintendo. It's a Nintendo franchise.
Zelda, Metroid,
plants.
Donkey Kong, Kirby.
Well, we could do like does it start human? Kind
Let's like.
I don't know.
Okay, so we can either narrow down the console, or we can, which is going to be tough because it's just going to be the same like Mario,
Yeah.
Donkey Kong, Star Fox.
Yeah.
Or we find out what you're doing in this game specifically, and then we go from there.
Ooh, like genre. We could eliminate genre.
I mean, I think you guys are so overthinking it. We know it's a long-running Nintendo franchise that's not that doesn't have Mario in it. So that eliminates
Yeah,
that.
but-
That turned out in hindsight to be a smart question because we know it's not
Yeah.
any of the karts or sports or any of
Yeah.
those because they all have Mario.
But also, they're like between 2000 and now, there are like 20 Zelda games, so that doesn't really help us that much. Even if we knew it was Zelda, that would still be hard.
I don't think so.
Well, you played this game more than I
Should we find out if it's a platformer? Let's find out the genre.
Yeah.
Is this a platformer?
No. Ooh. That's 10.
Ooh, that's 10?
Yeah.
Oh,
What
man.
what platformer would it have been?
Yeah, because we knew it wasn't.
Kirby?
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
Kirby,
Okay,
Donkey
that's
Kong.
fair.
Yeah.
I
Donkey Kong.
rescind my.
All right.
My
so
challenge.
Halfway there. What do we know so far?
It is a console exclusive, not to a Sony or Microsoft system. It's a long-running game. It's not a platformer.
After 2000.
After 2000.
Played in the 3D perspective.
3D
Yeah,
perspective.
and there are plants.
And there are
Is this
Why
a,
was that the first question?
I don't know. I feel
this
like that's
a-
going to save us or hurt us at the
is
end.
this a Zelda game?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's why he was so sure.
So you were so confident that if we knew it was a Zelda game, you'd be good. So.
Okay, so let's narrow it down. So that's
it's a 3D Zelda. So that one is good.
You turn into a wolf in this game?
No.
Okay.
All right, so it's a 3D Zelda game.
it's not Twilight Princess. It's Wind Waker.
Do you ride a real cool bird in this game?
No.
So it's not Skyward Sword. So that leaves Wind Waker.
Are you a real neat pirate in this game?
Nope.
Oh! Okay,
Right,
I'm in trouble. Link's crossbow training.
What if it is Link's crossbow training?
It's got to be Link's crossbow training because everything else was an HD
Are there
remake.
plants in Link's crossbow training?
Probably. There's some grass and shit.
Yeah, there's
sure.
plants. How do you think he learns all this stuff about his crossbow?
Oh, from that plant sensei who teaches him how to use it.
Wait, so do we? It's from a 3D perspective. So does that eliminate Phantom Hourglass and the train one?
I mean, I don't know. Like, there's a 3D character model in
We
that
could
game.
ask, is it a handheld game? You want to do that? Is it a handheld game?
No.
It's
All
Link's
right.
crossbow.
It's got to be Link's crossbow training.
You want to officially guess?
Is it Link's crossbow training?
No.
Oh!
Doesn't that mean we lose? Isn't that how this game works?
I mean, if you want to stop, that's fine.
Oh no. You know what it is? It's the 3D brawler. The
Smash Brothers?
no.
Oh, Hyrule Warriors?
Yeah. But it's made by a first party, and they didn't make that game.
Yeah.
How stupid are we being right now? It's a Zelda game after 2000 that's 3D.
This is gonna end with me screaming because we missed something major.
All right.
Are you?
2000 would be GameCube, Wii, and Wii U.
Is
Yeah,
Damon
so-
being tricksy? Is it?
I'm not
It's
doing
not a
anything.
handheld game.
Is
It's
this-
GameCube, Wii U, or Wii or Wii
I
U.
hope it's not like the Ocarina of Time.
Hold on. Is this
Virtual
game
console
out?
release?
Is this game released?
Oh, I mean,
Does that even?
Oh,
yes.
yes.
That shouldn't. Is that a question?
I thought he was trying to pull some shenanigans
I
on
wouldn't
us.
do that. I wouldn't
He's
do
not
that.
doing
to
Breath
you.
of the Wild. That game's not out yet.
Oh, I was talking about the Zelda that comes out in 2036.
I thought it was Breath of the Wild.
Back in the box. Okay, so GameCube was Wind Waker, and it's not that.
And it's not Twilight Princess.
And it's not Twilight Princess, and it's not,
And it's not Wind Waker.
and it's not Skyward Sword.
And
But
it's not
not a
Skyward
handheld
Sword.
game.
And it's not Hyrule Warriors. And it's not Link's crossbow training.
3 questions left.
okay, hold on.
Yeah, what the hell?
We're missing one.
Yeah, we're definitely missing something.
We're missing a major one. It's not Smash Brothers at all because Smash
'cause
Brothers
it's got
is
Mario in it.
and also Smash Brothers is a platformer.
Well,
Yes, totally.
it's a fighting game.
No, but it's got an entire single player mode that plays like a platformer.
All right.
Well, that one does.
All right.
All does.
Don't do this to me.
Yeah. What is going on?
Yeah, this is bad. So let's think about the spin-off ones because it's obviously none of the mainline ones. There was like Tetris trackers and crap like that didn't come to America. There was like
Yeah,
Tingle's Balloon
Tingle's
Flight,
Rupee Land.
Tingle's Rupee Land, Ganon's Kissing Booth.
It's not. I love Ganon's Kissing Booth.
It's
not,
a pig again. Oh no.
It's not a handheld. Did I ask that?
Yeah, we know it's not a handheld game. It came to consoles, so it might be like the Zelda collection or whatever, but that's not fair.
No, I don't think that's fair.
And I can't imagine being like a virtual console version of a game. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
crappy.
No, we asked if it was released after 2000.
Yeah.
So, like, that
That would mean
mean
the original
Yeah.
release.
Okay.
What other Zelda games? What the hell?
Did we did straight up say it's a Zelda game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We know it's a Zelda game, and we know I asked about Wolf for Twilight Princess
Yeah.
and Pirate for
For Wind Waker.
for Wind Waker, and
Bird.
riding a cool bird for
And it's not Majora's Mask 3D or Ocarina of Time 3D because those were handheld games.
right. And you don't train with a weapon.
When did Majora's Mask come out?
2 years ago.
No.
No. When did the original Majora's Mask
Majora's
come out?
Mask came out in the year 2000.
Did it?
Yeah,
Do you think it's Majora's Mask?
On the N64?
I think so.
Oh, you might be right.
Is it
Yeah, that,
we
that
forgot
game came
about
out
the
in 2000. That
N64.
game came out in 2000 because I was a sophomore in high school.
Is it The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask?
Yes.
Oh!
Yeah.
Glad you guys remembered. Yeah, it came out in the year 2000.
That's
Oh my
crazy.
God! Good
Yeah.
save.
Well, I felt right for your
Good
shot
save.
by asking that 2000 question.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
You know what? I think we used to say 2000. Did we always say 2000 or 2001?
We say
We
2000.
said man, that's nuts.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Majora's Mask out in 2000. N64.
I would have felt very dumb if we didn't get that.
Yeah.
Also, that game has tons of plants. There are all kinds
yeah.
of plants in that
Plants
game.
all over.
Yeah, you can turn into a plant. in
Plants
that
into
game.
next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know who will never turn into a plant again is any victim of the Zodiac killer, who is unfortunately still at large.
The victim is?
No, the Zodiac Killer.
The victim is still at large.
Ran for president recently.
And then so the GameCube wasn't out until 2001, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yep.
2001.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Wow.
so later in.
I guess I never actually thought about how late in the life of the 64 Majora's Mask was.
Yeah.
Very late.
Crazy.
I think Conquer was around then too.
Yeah.
I guess Zelda games are always like pretty late.
Yeah.
Well, the second one.
Yeah.
Well, the first one didn't come till 2 years into its life. Right?
Yeah.
God, that's nuts. I can't believe how close we got to
Remember
not
how cool that
getting
golden
Yeah.
cart was?
That wouldn't been bad.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Good save, Justin.
Well, and
Yeah.
Andrew.
Yeah.
You guys came around there at the end. I was a little worried.
Great job, Justin.
All right, that's all the scoops that we have for you this week. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Brian. My name is Damon. This is IGN GameScoop, and we're out.